Welcome back, guys. It's been a while. I haven't posted anything. Thanksgiving and other things. So technically, I did not have, and the weather got cold here. So it actually froze once. Uh, Frost, not freeze on the roads, whatever, but on top of the grass and on top of the cars, there were, yeah, visible ice-ish. Anyway, November. Yeah, I think I started a batch in November after making the um, after finishing the shredder. But I got greedy. I put too much. So one way or another, half of the batch didn't even get wet. Although I sprayed it, after every 5 gallon bucket, I sprayed. Maybe the heat and all that stuff. So yeah, it got dried, and then you need water. So I don't know. I may do something with uh, water system or whatever. Just put some rods from the sides and measure the humidity. If it's below something, whatever, just mist or just put some water. But yeah, I don't think I shouldn't be doing too big. Especially I'm doing this fast, and now the particle size I put in are small. They pack really easily. When they pack, they heat, and then the moisture doesn't get in there somehow. Anyway, but I also, the temperature sensor stuff, I found the problem. It was the temperature sensor I used before wasn't that good. Not that did not have good response as this Texas Instrument part. It's LMT 85 LP or whatever, the 3-pin TO92 package. So soldered everything. Everything was fine. I left it overnight, and that was the actually night that we had frost. And then I, got up in the morning and I look at the temperatures. They're still oscillating. Even though I have an op amp you know, to buffer it, that made no sense. And actually, this buffering thing, um, was happening in the other one. That's the whole reason I put the op amp to buffer it. So I think I figured it out. It's somehow uh, I make circuits, and I clean them with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, whatever, or denatured alcohol. I don't know if that's shit. Well, uh, stuff I get from Home Depot, there's nothing else. They just say clean burning fuel, denatured alcohol. So maybe I should use rubbing alcohol. I don't think it's the same thing. I don't know. But I've been using acetone, which apparently it was fine until it get exposed to the elements in some way or another. I don't have direct exposure, but things get cold and it's not airtight in the sensor. At the time I was trying, it's going to be airtight soon. That's what I'm going to come to in a second. But what happened was, the solder I'm using, it's a no clean solder, so it has flux in it, and it has, after you finish soldering, there is a flux residue, but you don't have to clean it. That's why it's no clean. But I still clean it. It looks better. Somehow I think the elements, uh, you know, whatever chemically happening um, at the temperatures in there, and there's no clean flux and um, acetone, they are reacting. uh, literally making like scales around the joints. And the funny thing, it was only happening to the wires I soldered and the temperature sensor. It wasn't happening around the resistors, capacitors, or the op amp. So I have no idea what's going on there. There's something chemically uh, interfering with these. And what's happening is apparently these some kind of like a like on negative terminal of car battery. If you don't, if it get exposed to the elements and it attracts something there. I'm not an expert of any of that stuff, but it is attracting something and the scale's building up, um, and apparently has some kind of conductivity. I took those sensors with the quote unquote corroded whatever these scales on it. I put it in the scope. I'm watching it, for 5 minutes. For a couple of minutes, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden, nothing. I have not touched anything. It starts oscillating again, and apparently, it's something. It's related to something in the atmosphere when the uh, temperature heats up, or the sensor has its own thing, and then somehow it's conducting and not conducting. I might have found another semiconductor besides silicon. Uh, no, I don't think so. But yeah, so I clean these boards with alcohol and retouch the solder joints to make sure they are good. And I have conformal coating. It's just a industrial nail polish, really, um, to isolate the solder joints and devices from the environment. So since then I've been running, and I made some changes to this program. I'll show that too. Uh, you know, I started this batch 11 a.m. It was already there. I just took what matured off and then put some chicken feed and then mix it a little bit and put some water, and yeah, there you go. So it says unmature half of the last batch. So I get that one and then I just put the graph on. You can see, I mean, it went up all the way here, and I think the particle size is so small, it may even be done, because it's the same way. Why do we chew? Because we increase the surface area so the stomach acid can, enzyme, whatever, can attack, uh, you know, the whole thing, more surface area so it has more place to attack. So um, the total of whatever you're eating gets digested faster. So in the same thing, bacteria will grow, whatever. But if you have more surface area, more area for them, more place for them to attack, and faster they get done. Because I'm getting 3 weeks, even with the old stuff. Now it's one day it peaks and then it doesn't do anything anymore. Although I give it water, air, and then nitrogen and all that stuff. So it feels like they're done. Even though I turn it or nothing works. So I'm thinking this will be done soon unless there's something else. So the only thing makes this thing faster is that chicken feed. It's readily available food, and bacteria goes crazy, and other insects and all that stuff goes crazy, and then they also eat the stuff surrounding too, which they would do normally. So it's the chicken feed basically attracts and catalyzes the process. I mean, it works amazing. I mean, 3 weeks. I can get it done in 3 weeks. It's decent. You can use it on the yard, no problem. So, um, anyway, so this, I separate this out, the options for the data, and as the batch I have batches I'll be having, it will populate here automatically when I put it in the database. Or you can just do by range, date time. I still have this last hour, and today. You can see in today it started 12 a.m. or 0 a.m. whatever, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then, yeah, it follows. This is the part, so right here and before, I did not turn the air on. And air, I set it up to run 1 minute out of 6. So every 6 minutes, it runs for a minute. So as soon as I started, you can see that on off, and then what happens is I have the sensors here. These get hot faster because the way that it is, apparently this bacteria likes to be hunkered down. They don't work that well on the outside surface. That's why it needs to be turned. So, or you can just put air, and this time it was much, everything kicked off on the right side. Normally it does in the middle, but so, and I know I did not put the temperature sensor, I did not connect them in the wrong. No. um, so it's I can actually do that. Let's see, I can do a, select all again, and I can fast forward it. As the time changes, you can see top, middle, the temperatures will change. It will get faster in a second to change. Yeah, it's got cold up top, so ones on top, twos. But let me stop and say this. Since I used half, half is already done. The way it is right now, the compost is right here, this level. So 4.5 inches between each. I machined it that way. This is completely out of the compost. And relative to this layout, ambient temperature sensor is right around here. So that's out too. But there is a hot air, whatever comes through, going up. It goes up, and it kind of warms these up, as opposed to this, because there's like one of the horizontal parts of the sensor. I can actually do that. There we go. This is the latest one. I guess you guys seen it before. I need to turn, yeah, the temperature sensors right here, and then it's right here. So it's actually, I did away with this. It's touching here. There's paint, but I'm sure it's being conducted, this outer shell. Inside of it there's a also same board as these. I replaced it. I also put a buffer on this one too, although it's really close. Just want things to be the same. And this did not have filtering either, so buffer and filter just like any other sensor. So I have 16 sensors, 15 in here, 5 each, and then this is exactly the same color, and I put some silicone around here. And finally, when I finished it, this is as it is right now. I did some experimental silicone all the way around, just around the sensors, but I got adhesive lined shrink tubing. So I'm going to cut a patch about, I don't know, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, shrink on top of it, and then actually sensors have brass bushing kind of thing around it. So I'll make a tool to, and it's outside diameter, that brass is 1/4 inch. So I'll make a tool to kind of twist real quick on that heat shrink when I put it to, make a little hole in there precisely. So the sensor would be exposed and everything else would still be, uh, you know, stuck with the adhesive everywhere. And then screws also. So anyway, what happens here is, uh, let me go back to this, is the level is right here right now. So theoretically, for some reason, the bacteria loves like perfectly in the middle. And it's the left to right, it's aligned middle. And front to back is also aligned in the middle. So basically right this area, not quite here because it's right there, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. So right here is the perfect center. So don't pay attention to these, and not these either, because they're not really in the compost. So let's go forward. As the time, yeah, the colors will change. I'm going fast forward. Rising, 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 rising. And the ambient temperature rise. It's 10 a.m. And then really it starts kicking off about a day later. It's already 45 Celsius. And it gets yesterday evening. No, that is yesterday evening. It gets to 50s, and then everything starts glowing red. Yep, it gets to purple. It gets up to 61 and 61.1. That's pretty much it. So, and I turn on this. Yeah, you see it's getting cooled down. I don't know if it's water I watered. I don't know if it's not getting enough air because I provided air. I mean, right here today, yes, I turned the air on. You can see, and it starts oscillating. All this. I stopped it, and then it starts going down. And uh-oh, I said, all right, I'll go back and start it again. At the same time I watered it, as you can see, these one sensors all the way completely above, and these are barely above the compost. They inadvertently get some water, so they cool down immediately, and then pick back up with air being on. But this R4 and M4, because it starts from right, they start going down. I don't know if it's the water get down there and make things cool. I don't know if it was too much water, which I don't think so. Um, so temperature, and then I stopped it because I see it's going down, and I know it's gonna get cold today, cooler. Um, in fact, it's starting to drop off here too because ambient temperature also gets affected by the air, because air is going to rise up, and it's going to make it a little bit different. And as soon as I turn it off, see, it's all not wiggling anymore, and everything's starting to calm down. And of course, weather is, cooler too. Right now is about 13.1. What is that? I don't know. 50 is 10 Celsius. 59 is 15 Celsius, so it's like 57 or something outside. It's not that cold, but yeah. And just to visualize things a little better, I found these, whatever, the expanders. expander panel they call, and then I modified it a little bit to appear and disappear automatically. Um, so you can look at all sensors, you can just look at the left. It's a little bit slow, but yeah. Middle ones, and then you can do just or right one or just the ambient to see what's going on. So this is, yeah, what's zoom. Oops, what? Why is that happening? Hold on. Alright, there we go. This is the entire batch. Uh, 12, 04, 11, all the way to now. So that's midday, basically. That's midday-ish. Gotten colder today. It was warm first day, the day of starting day, and then yeah, it's slowly coming down. It's actually raining right now, so it's not just because I turned off the air. There's actually cold front coming in, I think so, and it's just auto, whatever the scales and everything. Also, I did. This is dumb, not cool in a long run, but it is going to. It helped me as things are getting hot. It tells me what it is, just the first and last. Since it started coming down, it makes no sense. Um, see, temperature, let's say ambient temperature was whatever 2105, and then now it is 13. So if you look at it, what 2106 or 13. So from here to here, I got some negative 8.6 Celsius. So it doesn't over the entirety of ambient temperature really doesn't make sense anyway because it goes up and down every day. But for the other sensor, it doesn't make sense either for the entire, you know, period of the compost, start to finish. I'm just gonna do some statistical things later. I just put this out because I was just everything was ramping, so it made sense. I could look at any given point and I can tell. It's like, oh, what's the difference for me to hear instead of me pausing in here and saying, 37.4, it's over here. 44.6, what is that? Blah blah. 6.9, whatever. So yeah, instead of doing that, I just go over here and look at it, and it spans the whole. Even if you zoom it, it still shows the whole thing. So I zoom it in here, it will still show because it's calculated from the whole, you know, data. I'm gonna change that to recalculate every time I zoom. It's gonna use this and that. Well, that recalculation, and I'm not gonna use first last. I'm just gonna use some statistical stuff. You know, standard deviation from the whatever. Is it going up? What's the trend analysis basically in a simple way, not uh, you excuse me. Well, ultimately, I can categorize. I can say, well, I turned this. Outside temperature was this. I turned this, and I had this ingredients, provided that it's mixed homogeneously. Then I can say like, oh, okay, I would expect this much temperature raise, or I would expect this much for this thing to mature, and blah blah blah. I mean, it's not perfect compost, but it's just perfect um, organic material to supplement. And the places I put there are still green. Other places where I have crappy soil, the builder, wherever they got it, they probably got it off the side of the road. Previous owner, well, yeah, I don't know. She wasn't really paying attention. I guess it was all good when new sod, nice, soil. Yeah, that gets eaten up, and what you're left with is the crappy builder grade soil underneath. And if you don't do anything, the quality of the turf is gonna go down to crap. Or you just gonna have to keep pumping chemicals. You just need to have, um, you know, decent uh, organic, make the soil uh, do its job. We're not supposed to, yeah, I mean, we can feed it, but we're not supposed to be constantly, I mean, this is not a crop. Well, it is a crop, whatever, but it's not, um, the soil should do most of the job. You just supplement with some food in times that it's needed, like growing season. You don't like constantly put. This is not a you're not commercially growing something to a certain degree so you can sell it. Of course, you want it to look good, but that doesn't mean you have to throw chemicals at it all the frickin' time. Let the soil do the stuff, let the soil microbes do the stuff, and put some organic stuff, just like 500 years ago. You know, people would use cow manure and all that stuff. Natural way of doing it, all just these adding nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and all the other micronutrients, magnesium, and blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was no Home Depot back then to buy 50 pounds of whatever to spread it around so it would get green overnight. So, yeah, I mean, back then everything was happening organically. Uh, you know, People knew what things doing. You put cow manure and dang, that thing is green as hell. So that must be good. And they're experimenting. And that can, well, you're still putting nitrogen, blah, blah, but it's not synthetic. Like, you don't just put nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. You, you know, cow manure got all kinds of bacteria and this and that. But, major brand fertilizers, they're just synthetic chemicals, really. Like you're feeding nitrogen, you're feeding potassium and phosphorus. And phosphorus usually you're not, because it leaches into water and it's not good. So uh, Scott's doesn't have any phosphorus anymore, I don't think. So, and most of the U.S. soil has, I guess, somewhat okay phosphorus. If you need phosphorus, you supplement it in a different way. So, we got a big drop in here, 4 degrees. Maybe a possum or something was digging in there or something. It's first one. Well, anyway, so this is it. I'm gonna make another quick video about this screen, vibrated screen I am going to be using after I chop the leaves and little twigs to screen them, and then whatever stays on top of the screen I'll chop them again, so I can do it in big batch and the screen would be vibrating and in an incline, and whatever falls through that's good. And so that video is coming shortly. Literally, I'll just right after this I'll make that one. I meant to do this video and I meant to show outside, and remember not to put it on portrait mode on the phone, because that's all I have. I don't have, I have camera, but I'm not using it for this. I'm just using my phone, iPhone, to record, hopefully, landscape from here on out. I don't enjoy portrait stuff either, so I don't do this often. I'm not a YouTuber, so I just forget. Anyway, so let's see. That's the newest things I made like I said, I may just do stats a little bit differently, not just dumb stuff. But other than that, it's pretty much what I wanted, and now I can just really easily just get a batch I'm working on or previous batches to compare and whatever. Since I have the record for it, uh, this will help me hopefully figure things out. Kind of have a system going basically. So we'll find out how valuable this is gonna be. I mean, if nothing, I'll just I like looking at it. Look at this, it looks cool. Oh, that actually dropped lower than this. So this part may have been kind of on the way down. Now this is picking up, and then I think this was picking up, or this one. Anyway, so it's happening. I just need get my ratios on and the size of the batch. It does not need to be cubic yard. It's just people just saying stuff. Because yeah, it needs to be cubic yard if you put in kitchen scraps and all that. And by the way, that's just nasty. Like put everything in there. It's stupid. Like why would I put stuff like that? And then they complain like, oh, rodents and coming. It's like, well, yeah, you're putting some raw food in there. It's basically like a trash can. Raccoons are, you know, what else they got to do? So, I use just grass when available. Right now isn't. In fact, I mowed after 3 weeks. I mow twice a week. Now it's been 3 weeks because it's been cooler and it's not growing as much. I mulched it and it's just there was nothing really. I just mowed it just to be mowing. Anyway, so this probably I'll refer to this thing. Well, how it works. Well, I got this circuit, right? This there's the circuit here wirelessly. Let's see. I covered this in the other one. So analog to digital collects all the voltage equivalent of temperature generated by these sensors using the analog to digital, and this reads them each sensor periodically and then uses this XB Wi-Fi to send it to a specific port on a specific computer, my server and my network with whatever encryption. So when it gets to the server, there's a service on the server that listens that port, and what this spits out is 16 temperature, 15 plus the ambient, and it also um, shows outputs the interval. And right now I also fixed that in there. If you double click on the main background, you can update the interval. Well, this is Wi-Fi, so it's not simplex. It's either duplex or full duplex, half duplex, full, whatever. It receives things. So I set this up to processor to just receive basically a byte. Five. Value could be 5, 10, or 30 in seconds. As soon as this receives it, it pauses everything, disregards what it has, and then sets up a new timer for the time that I requested it to. And then it actually, every time it spits out that interval too. Because otherwise I would have to look at the records to see what was the last one and take a guess. Now, since I had to redo the circuits, it's like I reprogrammed just spit out that damn thing. Why am I guessing it? I have that information available. So anyway, so the service gets all that information and parses it and puts it in the database. That's all it does. And This picks it up from the database and shows it on the screen. This fancy drawing. It's literally drawn on the, these don't exist. I make a square, or I mean, circle. Put these temperatures on the left, these on the right, so I can see the colors much easier, but I have no option in the middle, except for top and bottom. Yeah, these will have to be in here somewhere. I can't put, yeah. So everything is drawn from scratch. However, the graph, yeah, this is a control. I just feed the data to it and decide what the colors are and blah blah, what to turn on and off. And the custom, actually, this could be, this does it live. Maybe I'm just interested in sensors that are in the fourth layer, whatever. Ambient is always there. It should always be there because everything pretty much relative to ambient. If you got negative degrees, whatever, which we don't hear that much, but I guarantee that would affect things, it would slow things down. Depends on how insulated the core of the compost, where things are actually happening. But anyway, so today, let's see, yeah. So this is it. You will see this thing every once in a while popping up when I'm talking about the compost, but this, I would like to finish this project done. I may just lastly show briefly in some update when I put the what you call the heat shrink tubes around this. That's just it. So successful, working. I get what I want out of it, so it works out pretty good so far. So this is the last track, 10:01, 10:01. Every 30 seconds. Yeah. So it'll be in 59 and some change. Yeah. So we don't have anything. Last. Yeah. Let's see. Come on. Come on. There you go. Yeah, that changed. Did it go up or down? Oh, we can look at that. Let's see. What was that? Middle top. Did it go up or down? Yeah, it went up from the last one. Come on, where's the other? Well, I had these things. Yeah, I took them off. Yeah. Okay, escape out. Okay. So that's it. This project's done. It's hopefully gonna help me figuring things out, perfecting the method. So thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend.